Hello, this video is what I think about fear. Um, mm, Fear is, well, Bashar says that fear is that emotion that you feel when that tells you that something is out of whack and needs to be tuned. So, like, a fear would be something that you feel like if you want to do something and then but you don't because you think something bad will happen. And so it's kind of like something keeping you from moving forward on a path that you know you really should move forward on. So it's fear is basically control, some kind of over control. Now, so is fear like a remnant of the animal condition? Because you could say that animals are afraid of you. When you walk up to a bunny rabbit, the bunny rabbit will run away from you because he's afraid of you, because he wants to stay alive. Um, well, you know what? I wouldn't. I would have to split that word up. In that case, fear is too big of a word, because that's more like survival instinct. Like if I were to be in the middle of the road and see a bus coming at me, I would jump out of the way. Not because I'm afraid of the bus, but because I have survival instinct. So what is fear? Fear, I think, is bad. There's absolutely no use for fear in this society. So if you ever feel fear, now I'm not talking about survival instinct fear. Like, I guess for humans, there's two kinds of fears. There's survival instinct fear and then social fear. Survival instinct fear would be like if you're rappelling off of a cliff and you're afraid because you have vertigo. Well, that's survival instinct fear, but it's also something reminding you that there's something out of whack because you have no reason to be afraid because well, I guess it's like it'll get the adrenaline going, it'll make you pay attention more, but if you're a human and smart and you're paying attention, you should be paying attention enough. And fear actually doesn't do you any good in that circumstance. You just want to be alert. So that would be you telling you that your emotion is out of whack. You're not having enough faith in the rope. But the main fear I want to talk about in this video is a social fear. Fear. People are terrified of each other, and that's bad and that's useless and it doesn't do any good. Now, I don't think that fear has to be something that's necessary in the evolvement of humanity. I think when people, you're a monkey, you become a human in a society. You shouldn't have any, in an ideal growth of society, you shouldn't have anything holding you back and keeping you from doing that which you are motivated to do. And but we have that in our society. We have people who want to do stuff and then they just get afraid. And they're afraid because for a good reason. I mean, I guess if you think that being ridiculed and stuff is painful, that would make sense. But I mean, being ridiculed in itself, why does that have to be painful? It's just words. You could be afraid of to say something because you're going to be hung in like one of these countries. But that would be more like I guess a survival instinct. But in our society, since we live in a civilized society, I think a lot of fears are actually unfounded. People's fears of public speaking and sharing themselves and saying what they believe and stuff is unfounded for a large part. I mean, a lot of reason. You have a lot of reasons to, as far as like professional survival instinct, to not want to say some certain things because like maybe you'll get fired or lose all your friends or whatever, but you don't know that for sure unless you actually try it. And I think people just assume that, and so that they don't try it, and then so fear is kind of like a false idea of the future, or trying to predict the future when you have no actual proof, or no. People would say, "Oh, I'm not going to loan you my bike because you're going to give it back to me all messed up," and it's like, I've had like roommates say that to me, and it's like, how do you know that? I've never borrowed your bike. You shouldn't. So when people are afraid and they want to do stuff, and but they don't do it because of some like idea about the future they have, and they think that that's justification. That's not right. People people need to continue forward on their ideas and their plans and stuff they want to say and do, and um, not worry about the future. You have to. The only way to figure out what's going to happen if you do something is to actually do it. Now, in this day and age, I think we're kind of in remnants of fear because, it was very, made a lot of sense in the bygone days to be afraid because, with the Salem witch trials, if you were to like make an herb tea, this hot girl making an herb tea, she'd get burned at the stake because people would think that she's a demon and they have to kill her and send her to hell for eternity before she sends everybody else to hell for eternity, and all that other religious persecution that we've been doing. And so where does fear come from? I think it comes from the lack of love, which brings everybody together. So it's a lack of knowledge that we're all the same, and um, we're all, and that God exists, which is, the great power ruling everything is good. And it's not like up to us to kill other people who you perceive as being bad. You just let people be themselves and do their thing, and it'll all work out in the end. And people kind of thinking that we're all separate, and so then wanting to have power, like with the Roman Empire, trying to instill fear into people and telling them that they'll burn in hell forever if they don't become Catholic, because they're afraid that if they don't become Catholic and become part of the Roman Empire or whatever church, or give you money or be owned by you, then you can't have power, and then you're nothing. It's kind of hard to conceptualize, but it's like, where did this come from? There's lots of people, conspiracy theorists, whatever, say that it was actually imparted us and given to us in our DNA by aliens, the Anunnaki, and they were evil aliens, and they did that to us, and it started. And that even the Great Pyramid was made, and they put the capstone on it to actually keep a vibration of fear in the earth. And maybe that's true, I don't know, because it's kind of, it's kind of like it is this emotion that seems to be like permeating over everybody. But and it does seem to me to be completely unnatural and unfounded and unnecessary. So basically my attitude towards that is to there's too much fear going on right now because there's no trust, and so we basically need to blow fear away by encouraging everybody to express themselves to the utmost, and just in every which way, and express their love for everybody. So that's basically what I'm gonna do. I just want to express myself to the maximum. I want to like make music. I want to sing, like rap songs. I want to make movies. I want to do everything. And I think the only thing holding me back would be fear. I'll just do it. And if I don't think that I'm like prepared or whatever, I'll just do it anyway so I can get it out of the way and then do the next thing. And I think you'll find if you share yourself, I have like 1,100 videos. I think you find if you share yourself on the internet, people will show you much more love than they'll show you hatred. People are ready to show love these days. You know, fear pretty much doesn't exist anymore. It only exists in people's imaginations. So, down with fear, up with love.